Hello, hi, how are you? It is 8:06 a.m. on this February 25th, 2021 morning here in Michigan. I am Fremont Lee. Views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the person saying it. That's me, Fremont Lee. First, some news. A little about work last night. I finished aisle 7. Went by before, within 2 hours, roughly. Went to lunch. Came back. Went to aisle 8. Worked out and finished that and conditioned as I went along. When I finished, I called the supervisor and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, help out in dairy." I was like, "Okay, cool." Or no, I had to condition 15 first, then go to dairy and help out with yogurt, which was an Elkhart. I had a skid and an Elkhart in 7, a skid and 2 Elkharts in 8. Most of the Elkharts, the 2 Elkharts in 8, were mostly water, like the little bottles of water. Not this size, but like that size. It was the cases of. Actually, cases of, as opposed to. So, and there isn't a spot for it. There is, but the case of water this size, the 16.9 fluid ounce, is in that spot where it says those little ones go. So I just put those onto another. I had pulled it out a third Elkhart, an empty Elkhart, and put all of that onto that Elkhart, and then push that to the end of the aisle because it was going to go away. It was just it's because it wouldn't go up because the spot was being used. Okay. Let's go with birthdays for now, and then a little more news after that. Today's birthdays, February 25th. Ric Flair. Woo! Joycelyn Liu. Joycelyn Liu. Joycelyne. She's an actress. I have her calendar. Sean Astin. Isabelle Fuhrman, who was in Orphan 2009, the movie Orphan. She wasn't in an Orphan. That just sounded weird. Scott Carrot Top Thompson. So Carrot Top, his birthday's today. Tia Leone. Rashida Jones. Justin Burfield, who was Reese on the TV show Malcolm in the Middle, 2000 to 2006. Carl Marotte, Marotte. He was in the movie that I like to talk about, Breaking All the Rules, like 1983, 82, something like that. He works at an amusement park, which is weird because on his day off he goes to the amusement park to ride the rides. So I don't. I had a crush on the lady that was in the movie, Carolyn Dunn, I think. I'd have to look that up. Anyway, Lee Evans, who was in The Fifth Element. He was the one where you mind? And then Bruce Willis says, "You mind if I give him?" Because he's never the character that he was playing never negotiated. He's like, and then Bruce Willis goes in. Anybody else want to negotiate? Where did he learn how to negotiate like that? That's Lee Evans. He was also in There's Something About Mary, I believe. He was the pizza delivery guy who wasn't. I don't know what he was. Anyway, James Phelps, Oliver Phelps, They're in the Harry Potter movies, the twins. I may mispronounce her name, and I apologize. Kata Dobo. Kata. Kata Dobo. Dobo. It could be Dobu. Dubo. I'm not sure. Now, this is tricky because there's two people. Tara Wilson, who was in The Butterfly Effect 2004, and she played Ruth on an episode of Once Upon a Time in 2017. Then there's Tara Wilson, who played Pam on an episode of Law and Order Criminal Intent 2004. The second Tara is married to Chris Noth, I believe. I think that's what it said. I could be wrong. John Doe, he was in the movie Roadhouse, 1989, and he played Mick Wolf on 3 episodes of One Tree Hill, 2008. He's a musician, singer, actor. Chelsea Handler, Samantha Phillips, she was in Phantasm 2. Nancy O'Dell, Brad Takei, he is married to George. Sally Jesse Raphael, Paige Fletcher, who was on the Hitchhiker TV series 1983 to 1991, and RoboCop Prime Directives in 2001. He played RoboCop and Alex J. Murphy. Maria Kanellis, who plays Maria on WWE, SmackDown, WCW, whatever. And to the late Christopher George, Gert Frobe, Jim Backus, I'm a girl, done it again. The millionaire, Thurston Howell III on Gilligan's Island. Zeppo Marx of the Marx Brothers, and George Harrison of the Beatles, the late George Harrison. That is out of the top 100 of 1,330. A few days ago, last week-ish, I put a Shamrock and Flat Top in the cooler for somebody that shows up at 11, or comes in at 11. There usually isn't one, or they're the junky ones that are left. So I put one in there for him because he works the cooler and he comes in at 11. You know, it's a nice thing I do. Somebody apparently complained to our supervisor about it. And then our supervisor, the lady supervisor, ended up telling the person that I saved it for to tell your buddy to stay out of the cooler if he's not, because he doesn't work it. And that was like one of the 3 things that set him. He was like, it's my understanding that's how it happened. I could be wrong. But she yelled at him. She kind of like, barked an order at him instead of like just, politely asking, hey, or coming to me and telling me not to go in there if I'm not working there or whatever. But no, she barked an order at him, and it was like the 3rd thing she did to him, like barked an order like that at him. And it sort of like, he just said, the first time I think he was like, second time he was like, and the 3rd time it was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. So he ended up putting in a 2-day notice, then applied somewhere else, got a call back from them, and he is going to work there because they said, when can you start? And because I can understand his reasons for it. He wanted a different shift in order to be able to spend time with his children, and working nights isn't helping him with his stuff. I mean, it's because it's like offset. Not everyone can work nights. I get that, but this way he can actually spend time with his children because of the shift in which he has it set. He could, so that's cool. I understand that. That's, and I hope I don't get sent back to dairy because I will say no. I was moved out of dairy because she wanted to change things up. I don't want to go back to dairy. I'll help out. That's different. That's different. Um, Trying to find L carts to throw things to because it all comes in together, dairy. So it's like juice, creamer for the cooler, yogurt, cheese, biscuits, butter, jello. It's like it all comes together on skids, like 4 or 5 skids. It gets delivered, unloaded from the truck, and we separate it from, this is cheese. Okay, and this is all cheese except for stuff on the bottom that's butter. Just we'll take this out. That's no problem. Maybe we'll get these bagels off the top, something. Sometimes that's what happens. But for the most part, it's like, okay, juice, cooler stuff, and that's two different things right there. Because cooler stuff, we separate the sour cream and cottage cheese onto an L cart and creamer onto an L cart. So it's like, okay, milk stuff. Just it's like technically sour cream, but it's like we that way because the sour cream and the cottage cheese are like in the cooler at this point in the cooler, and all of this down this way is creamer, half and half, uh, organic milk, excuse me, gallons of milk, whatever. But there's like 3 doors. It's like sour cream, cottage cheese, and the third one is like dip, French dip for chips or vegetables if you want to, do it that way. I don't, other people are whatever. But cottage cheese and all that. It's like there's like 3 doors of it. 2 doors, 3 doors. It's been a while since I've actually had to work the cooler, so I can't remember right now. But a yogurt gets a cart. If it's a small load, it's one L cart. Usually, it's like one L cart. Butter biscuits, maybe 2 L carts. If we separate the biscuits and the Jello, we put that on one L cart, and then the butter onto another L cart. Because if you put it all onto the same L cart, you're like back and forth all night instead of like just trying to dig through, which is fine. Juice, that's like another section right there, so that's another cart. And then cheese is a different wall entirely. It's a different section. Because it's like uh, this is the dairy cooler, like right here, this section, and then it's cheese wall, and then up here, yogurt, Jello, cookies, biscuits, or biscuits, and then cookies, butter, and then it's like juice is down that way. So it's like, you can't put cheese on to something where it's like juice because you're coming all the way over here, or you're gonna set it aside and then have to walk it all the way over. So when we break it down, it's like everything gets separated to where it goes, and that's cool. So we need L carts for that. Um, some days we get a lot of cheese. We've had two skids out on the floor and breaking that down, and three L carts. It was that much, So you figure the L carts work the L carts. Um, that way, if you have backstock, it can just be put back onto an empty L cart or one of the L carts, because okay, this has been worked. So it's like, and then work a second L cart. That way, because it's the skids are wrapped in plastic, so all that cold stays in. But we work as much as if it goes, it goes, and then we put the stuff from the L carts onto the first L cart, and then we work the skid. Work that because it's usually all the same stuff. Like 8, um, we've had up to 16, maybe 20 of the same thing. Um, 5 facings, 6 facings of the same cheese, like taco cheese. It's like there's like 3 facings of that. Then there's the fancy shred, which is the thin, the fine cut, and then there's like the not so fine cut. So it's like that's a different that's a different. So there's like 5 or 6 of that, 5 or 6 of that, and so you figure one case will fit on a on one little one space. So it's like, um, so if there's 6 facings, there's maybe 7, maybe 8 boxes will go, because you can fit the one case and there's room for like 3 more. So you figure 3, 6, 9. There's 12 in the box. 12 in the box, 3, 6, 9. Yeah, usually 12. There's 12 in a box. So it's like that goes up and then separate it, and it's like, okay, so if it's 6 facings, 7 boxes go. You can squeeze 8 in. Squeeze. Use your words, man. Let me alone. Don't tell me what to do. Um, but yeah, so it's like, and it's great. And then the other 8 boxes, because we got 16 of them. It's like that can go onto an L cart. Hopefully, it's a decent L cart. But I mean, if we're breaking it down in the back to wheel it out to the floor, it's like because those crappy carts, and because some people just go whoop slam, and then the bearings and the wheels kind of look at. I don't know why did you go bad? Because you're an idiot. You dropped it. You dumb shit. You just blew out the fucking. I'm sorry. That's just. And if there are no L carts, because GM takes them all for what they need, Frozen takes them for what they have. Um, you know, you figure we they can be worked off the skids. But to separate it would be a lot easier to get it done and quicker usually. Which I don't want to go back to dairy. So if they ask, "Oh, you want to go to?" No, I got pulled out of dairy because somebody wanted to change things up. So I am no longer in dairy. I am working aisle 7 and 8. If and I'm cool with that. You want to move me back to dairy? Uh, I want an extra $5 an hour. Something. Sorry, I just uh that cracked me up. Um, you figure the person they had hired somebody else that was working dairy. He called in a few times. I'm not sure he works there anymore. And with my friend who was working dairy, he no longer works there because he put in his 2 day notice 2 days ago. And I really hope things work out for him. I do. Thank you for letting me talk to you. It's if anyone's listening, that's great. Thank you. I hope you have a great day. If your birthday is today, February 25th, happy birthday. I actually said 25th right this time. Before I was like 25th. Or 15th. No, it was 5th, 25th. So yeah, hope thank you for watching. Hope all is well with you. Stay hydrated, sleep well. I hope drive safely, stay warm. It's February in Michigan and it's cold. See all day. Cold. It's cold. What? I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Uh, it was a one mouse on Tom and Jerry. If you recall that video, the show, maybe it was a duck. I can't remember. It's been a while. Take care.